A man working out alone in a locked Pasco Donley private gym was approached by a police officer responding to a complaint. And from the first exchange, the officer could not name a single crime under investigation under the Fourth Amendment and Terry v. Ohio. An investigative detention and any ID demand tied to it must be grounded in reasonable articulable suspicion of specific criminal activity. A standard of vague report of someone acting suspicious does not automatically satisfy. What follows is an 8-minute exchange in which the officer's own words repeatedly confirm he cannot meet that standard, and the man on the other end knows it.
So when I ask questions, simple questions, as public employees, because to be quite honest, I'm military, right? I know my rights, I know the law, I study law. So I'm just trying to make sure. So in order for you to request and need my information, identification, you must have a suspicion of what? You have to have something to...
We have a call. Somebody called in and said you would. So that gives us the right to ID.
A suspicion of a crime. You must have a suspicion of a crime. What is the crime that you are suspecting me of?
Again, she didn't elaborate. She said you're acting
So you have no crime that you're suspecting me of, but you still want me to identify myself. Investigation for what? Because you have to have some kind of crime to investigate, right?
No.
So you just investigate people? You pick people out at random?
Calls, yes,
you pick people out at random and just tell them to present ID?
Again, I just told you it's random.
You just told me you don't have you have suspicion, but you can't tell me what.
Somebody else called. I told you a minute ago. I said we didn't just pick you up randomly.
Suspicion of what crime?
She wanted to know. No, she didn't say what it was. She said you were acting suspicious. Okay.
I've been in here for hours. Who can say I'm acting suspicious when I've been in here literally for hours? So again, I would like to know what crime. I would like to know what crime I'm suspected of, because you have to have a suspicion of some kind of crime to ask for evidence for my identification.
No, this
is actually a free country. That's the whole Nazi thing of freedom papers. We don't do freedom papers in the United States. I would like to know what crime, because I don't do freedom papers.
You're making this really worse than it is.
I'm just trying to make sure that my rights are not violated.
They're not being violated.
So suspicion of what crime?
You don't get any idea now. We could be gone by now.
All I want to know is suspicion of what crime. This is a simple question. It's a simple question.
You don't get any idea now.
I would like, if I'm going to give you, and that you're requesting ID, because you can't demand, you can only request as a public servant.
And I'm asking you.
Yes, and I'm asking you so I can properly give you identification. What crime are you suspecting me of?
Again, there's not necessarily a crime here. We're trying to ID you because we have a call on you. That's short and to the sweet. That's short and to the point. That's it.
So
we have other things we can be doing, man. Sitting here arguing with you, going over.
And I know this, so why?
And all that stuff. Do you have warrants?
No. Why would I have warrants? I'm here. I'm in the gym working out.
Then we could be gone, man. We got other stuff to do.
Do you know what you are supposed to do as a constitutional person? Because you're supposed to hold up constitutional rights, right? That's your job. Hold the Constitution.
And again,
the Constitution literally says there must be suspicion of a crime. And I would like to just know what crime. That's all I asked. And you can't even articulate clearly what crime there is, which you must do.
I never said there was a crime.
So,
I said we have the right to investigate. When people call in, we have the right to investigate what may or may not be a crime.
So
to me, it don't look like there's anything wrong. But
so
we still have the right
I would just like to know, so if I did not have any ID on me, what would you do then?
We try to figure out a way to ID.
And how would you go about that purpose?
I already knew you. I already knew you.
If you already know who I am, then why are you asking for identification?
Well, I have an idea.
Oh, so you know who I am. You're still going to ask me for identification.
I said I have an idea who you are.
No, you said you know who I am. I have it on recording. You said I know who I am. I know you know who I am, right?
I said I have an idea who you are.
So if you know who I am, like you stated, firstly, why are you asking me for identification? I'm just trying to make sure my rights aren't violated. And right now I have this going live on Periscope because I'm trying to make sure that everyone knows that what's going on here.
That's fine. And you're not being violated. We're asking you for your ID, man. If you can't provide your ID, you think you're being violated, then do what you got to do. All right? We have a job to do. Somebody called a complaint on you. So again, we weren't the ones. We don't know the detail. We haven't talked to you. All right? And again, you're making this way worse than it is, so you get some.
There is nothing around here. There's nothing around here. This is a warehouse building. Right? So no one can even see my car from here. So I'm trying to understand who could possibly call you for violation or complaint So where did you get this complaint from? Because there's nothing around.
No,
This is not a resident. This is a commercial area. Where is there a building around or any kind of housing where someone could see my car well enough?
I can see your house.
Suspicious.
I can see your car from one street over.
Is your first name Leroy?
I go by Leroy.
Leroy. Last name Grant.
Sometimes I go by Grant or another name, which is my married name.
Okay.
And you already said you know who I am. So I'm trying to figure out if you know who I am. You're saying you're calling about a suspicious. No, you said it's on recording that you already know who I am. So I'm just trying to make sure that we got everything kind of there.
I said we have an idea who you
I'm assuming you came in here on your own. You have a password code and all to get in there.
This is the only way you can get in is a passcode.
No, because he let me in, and I don't have a passcode.
They're not allowed to do that. If you see the signs out front, it says you're not allowed to bust people in. And there's nobody here besides the two of us. And he came in after me, if you can ask him. So,
Well, that's all I was asking you, sir.
okay, I'm just making sure you know.
Right.
And you're Caroline County, correct?
Yep.
Is this Caroline County?
Yes.
I thought this was Dorchester.
How is this Dorchester?
Dorchester County.
Why would this be Dorchester?
I swear Dorchester. Oh, it's part of Carolina? Okay. So you know all my information, know everything about me as you stated. What is the purpose of this? This is what I'm trying to figure out. And you still haven't articulated clearly in understandable fashion why you're here talking to me. You only said you have a report from someone about something that you can't articulate, which has to be a crime in order for you to even be here, or serving me a warrant if you actually want my identification, which you must have in order for me to actually have to give you identification. You're stopping me from more workout. That's detaining me.
I never said you stop.
So I can continue working out?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to make sure this stays right here.
That's fine. License suspended.
Is it? So that's what you think?
Is that what I think?
Mm-hmm.
That's what they told me.
Who told you that?
NBA.
The NBA told you that. And when did they tell you that? When did they tell you that? Just a second ago. Okay. And how did you see my license plate?
It's on the car.
So you were looking for my license plate?
The description
Hey,
of the
sir,
car.
listen. We're not wanted. Everything's clear as far as our checks. However, if they come back that you have a suspended license, okay, fair to comply with the courts. All right.
That's kind of interesting because a month ago I went to the MVA and got a Maryland license because I didn't have one.
Just confirmed it. You are suspended.
With what court did you confirm that with?
It just says fair to comply with the courts.
So, can I ask just because you obviously have all my information, what license number do you have?
Not a license. That's your vehicle out there.
What license number do you have?
Sir, I'm trying to explain that to you. Is that your white car out there?
You said I have a suspended license, correct?
Right, you ran a tag.
Okay.
You're the primary owner. You ran a check of that name. You said your name is Leroy Grant. You ran that. They confirmed that your license is suspended, okay?
And what license number do you have? Since you said you confirmed
I
it.
don't have a license number.
So you confirmed it without having actually a license number to confirm.
We confirmed it through our dispatch.
You confirmed it without having a license number to confirm.
You can do it by your name, bro. You can do it by your name, bro.
Okay.
Okay. Good. You good, man? Enjoy your workout.
Mm-hmm. You have a nice day. I don't drive. I travel. You should know the difference in law. There's law is a great thing. It teaches you stuff. Mm-hmm. Actually, yes, it does. It's called Supreme Court ruling. You should look it up. I have some documents in the car if you want to see them. I can show you the paperwork if you want to see it. You don't want to see the paperwork? I got the paperwork and the law on it. I keep it with me at all times. You don't want to see the paperwork? I can show you the law. You don't gotta leave. You said you wanted to talk to me. I can show you something. Oh, you don't want to talk now? They met.
This encounter implicates the Fourth Amendment's prohibition on unreasonable seizures and investigative detention, including any demand or request for identification tied to that detention, requires reasonable articulable suspicion of specific criminal activity under Terry v. Ohio, and a caller's report that someone was acting suspicious. without any articulable facts describing criminal conduct, does not automatically satisfy that standard. The officer was unable at any point in this encounter to name a specific crime under investigation, and the suspended license determination was made by name alone, with no license number to verify, a confirmation method that raises its own questions about evidentiary reliability. In Maryland, where stop and identify obligations attach only to a lawful detention, understanding the precise threshold for what makes a stop lawful is the difference between a detention you are legally required to cooperate with and one you are not.